You know, it really fascinates me just how bad AEW could be sometimes. Dynamite is like a show that there's no excuse here, because with WWE there's like 1,000 different shows, but with AEW there's just one show and not as many pay-per-views. So you would think it would be all hands on deck. Let's make sure that AEW Dynamite is something special every week, that, you know, people can remember what Tony Schiavone said, and it was like, you know, deep down it was really, you know, half-hearted. He's a great announcer, so he can make things sound believable. But he said, you know, it makes me fall in love with the sport all over again. That's like what a new promotion should be about nowadays. I mean, because you've got WWE that's old and tired. They're not doing anything. They're doing angles from the 80s. They're completely irrelevant. You know, they got on a major network like Fox, and they still can't get things right. So it's AEW's opportunity. They could be, you know, a whole new league. They could be great. They could be something special. But they're not. And they're not going to be. They're not ever going to be anything special. We're going to have a company that is going to disastrously fail. Whenever Tony Khan's father decides to pull the plug on this miserable promotion that is AEW, that is when it's going to end, because it is so, like, apparent. Like, just look at Tony Khan. Google a picture of Tony Khan, and what do you see? You see one of the most stereotypical looking nerds ever. Like, this guy is, like, pulled right out of Revenge of the Nerds. Like, seriously. Like, if you Google the word nerd, don't even Google Tony Khan. Google the word nerd, and you'll probably find someone that looks exactly like Tony Khan. So let's get into this show. This is a show where just it was on full display just how bad the show is. And that's not hyperbole. That right there is honest to goodness feedback. I mean, there's three, count them, 3 angle storylines, call them whatever you want, on this show, where it's all about factions recruiting. You've got Inner Circle, you've got the Dark Order, and you've got the Nightmare Collective. They're all trying to recruit people on this show. So, you know, let's get into the show. You know, let's see what we've got here, okay? Let's analyze this. Okay, so we start off with Kenny Omega and Adam Page defeating Private Party for probably the 90th time. And I haven't even watched every single episode of AEW Dynamite. But how many times have we seen this show? And I mean, honestly, how much longer are we going to keep seeing the Street Profits ripoffs in these boring high spot tag matches? And can we finally say that Kenny Omega is probably one of the most... No, I'm sorry. I have to say it, guys. He is the most overrated wrestlers I have ever seen in my entire life. I have never seen anyone built up so much by fans, by smarks, that this guy is... You know, you would think that when you're watching him, you would think that you're in store for seeing the next Rock, the next Stone Cold Steve Austin. You think that you're in for something amazing. I can see it now. You know, if if a Smart befriended someone who hadn't watched wrestling in years, hey man, hey, whoa, get away from me! I just met you. No, hey, all right, I'll talk to you. Just leave me alone, random guy on the bus. Hey, yeah, hey, you said hey a bunch of times. Hey, yeah, you gotta check this guy out, Kenny Omega. He's amazing. He's one of the best wrestlers in the past decade. I haven't watched wrestling in 20 years, man. What are you talking about? I mean, that stuff sucks. I hate wrestling. I used to watch it during the Attitude Era, but not anymore. No, but you gotta check it out. This guy is so awesome. He's so charismatic. He's the king of promos. He's the king of Japan. Well, I've never watched Japanese wrestling. Never mind that. He's one of the greatest. I'm telling you, man. He's the best. He's the best. All right. Just show me one of his matches or his promos on your phone. Leave me alone. Yeah, check it out, man. Hey, check it out, Kenny Omega. Who is this little schmuck? Hey, you can't talk that way about my favorite. You see what I mean? Like, that's exactly what would happen. That is exactly what would happen. If you showed a random, well, maybe not a random person, but if you showed someone who hadn't watched wrestling in a long time, Kenny Omega, just don't even show him a match, don't even show him a promo, just show them Kenny Omega, the individual, and I guarantee you they're not going to be that impressed. Now, there's been other wrestlers that are small in stature, but they're impressive to look at. Rey Mysterio. In his prime, this guy was jacked to the gills. I mean, and the mask and everything and the costumes made him stand out to an American audience. There's numerous examples of this, but, you don't have to be, a huge guy to be a big star. I agree with that. But but if you're going to be a smaller guy, you better be a Rey Mysterio. You better do something to really make yourself stand out amongst the crowd. Like Eddie Guerrero. The guy was 5'8", but he oozed charisma. I mean, that's why I hate so much when people compare him to Sammy Guevara. Because Eddie Guerrero was one of the most charismatic, not only the most charismatic, but one of the greatest wrestlers that ever lived. So it's so haphazardly when I hear people peddling off of what JR is saying with Sammy Guevara. And I know why he's comparing him to Sammy Guevara. It's because, he wants to give, Guevara some good, praising. It's very hard to find anything else with Sammy to really be worthy to praise him on commentary about. So he goes with probably the most popular Hispanic wrestler of all time in Eddie Guerrero. And, but the Smarks seem to be taken to it, but anyone else who hears this comparison, such as myself, is going to completely scoff at it. I am scoffing at the remark and the idea of this guy being anywhere close to Eddie Guerrero. So, but let's get back on topic, guys. We're getting off topic. So, we have this match, and we've seen it 1,000 times, but we're going to see it again. Great. Fantastic. We move on. I mean, it's just a match, and they've really literally had 1,000 matches. After it ends, Pac attacks Omega's Japanese friend. I don't know if he's from New Japan. I guess he's from New Japan, right? Because Kenny Omega wasn't in All Japan. He was in New Japan. God forbid I get the Japanese wrestling promotion wrong. I'll have Smart swarming out. Oh my God! He said, I remember when I said that about, what's his name? Not Kenzo Suzuki. Oh, Nakamurphy. That's right. Remember what I said about Nakamurphy? I says, remember around the time when he won the Royal Rumble? I says, the only reason people like this guy is because he wrestled for New Japan. And people were like, see, you don't know what you're talking about. He's not a New Japan wrestler. He's an All Japan wrestler. I'm like, take it easy, pal. I mixed up my all with my new. Never mess up the all with the new. You know, it's very important. If you want to be successful, if you want to get a good job, if you want to make a lot of money in life, if you want to grow up and have a beautiful family, you know, and just have endless luck and prosperity, make sure that you don't confuse All Japan Wrestling with New Japan Wrestling, because the results could be dire. I'm just saying, it's really amazing. But anyway, Pac is attacking someone I don't even know. I remember that this was the same guy that he attacked that was sitting in a chair. Well, it wasn't 2 weeks ago. It was 3 weeks ago now, because they didn't wrestle on Christmas, which was actually a good thing. But people have already forgotten about this because they didn't even follow up on it on last week's show. So, you know, I don't get it. You know, like they just totally skipped that. But like, I don't know if I should be happy about it or I should be, unhappy. Like I said it last week. Should I be happy that they're skipping storylines that I'm not interested in, or should I criticize them because I didn't care to see those storylines anyway? It's just interesting to point out, nonetheless. But anyway, so Pac attacks Omega's friend. Oh, he's horrible. I will say this, like, when Pac gets in the camera and, his accent and everything, I've talked about this since his WWE days. I love Pac. I love Adrian Neville. I love Neville. I like this guy. I mean, he's a good athlete. I don't think he really needs to really put his career on the line because the guy has a great look, has a lot of charisma. See, this is what I'm talking about. If you're going to be a small guy, Pac has a look. He's got an attitude. They need to build off of this because this, first of all, the feud that he's having with Kenny Omega has been so start again. Like, remember how they were doing more with Kenny Omega and Pac wrestling than they were with, and feuding than they were doing with Omega and Moxley? And I said, like, pick a feud already. Pick a damn feud and stick with it. Because then when they finally had the big payoff match with Omega and Moxley, I said that they spent more time on Pac and Omega. I mean, so, like, it's no surprise why I say that this product stinks, because it's quite obvious that it does. I mean, take a look at what we're seeing here. I mean, you're seeing the promotion just right in front of your eyes show that they don't give a damn. They're all over the place. Nothing makes sense. One week they show something, the next week they don't. They go back to it. They just don't know. It's like, whatever. See, this is what happens when you don't have writers and you have the biggest Dave Meltzer worshipping smarks running the company. This is what you get. Pure, absolute, cringy garbage. And we're not even at the worst parts yet. We're only on the first match. This, if anything, might have been the best part on the show. Okay, I don't know. We'll see what the best part was as we go through this. Up next, the very worst thing that could have ever happened on this show. I don't think it's happened yet. Maybe it has, but like I said, I took a break from reviewing this show for a few weeks, and rightfully so. I believe I deserved that. Remember, like, watching this is torture. I like reviewing it. I like talking to all you guys and sharing my opinions and thoughts. It's a lot of fun for me. It's also fun to vent and everything. But watching the show is quite painful to do it. So, this is why I'm taking a break from the WWE programs. You guys seem like you're enjoying the AEW reviews. Well, the people who don't like AEW are enjoying them because, like, I think they respect my opinion. And, like, you guys know, I'm giving reasons why I don't like this, and I'm stating why I don't like the product. I'm stating why I don't like the matches. See, that's what I do on here. I'm not just going to say, oh, it sucks. No, I'm telling you why I think it sucks. And I give you a specific reason. So this is not just bashing for the hell of bashing something. No, there's reasons behind this stuff. And of course, think about something here for a minute. I could blindly praise this show and probably get a lot more views. It works for JD, right? Look what happens with that guy. He got a little tough this past week, and he says, he's gonna have some fair criticism for the show, but it's kind of like, we'll do better next week, but he knows that it stinks. But he's already been exposed that all he's trying to do is get a commentary job on there. Like, everyone knows this. There was a comment left on my video by a great subscriber who stated this. And when I really thought about it, like, a lot of people knew about this. And Burying the Smarks over on Instagram, he even confirmed this. He said, like, yeah, that's what this guy wants to do. He even put a nice screenshot on there, and I was happy that he did that on his Instagram page. So anyway, so let's talk about this match. So it's Rio, and she defeats Chris Statlander. That name is just awkward to say. Like, I want to say like I don't know what name I want to say, but it just doesn't sound natural. Statlander. Here's another thing, guys. And I know this has been going on for a long time. Whatever happened to wrestlers having like cool names like Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, The Undertaker, Kane, Viscera, Edge, Gangrel, cool names, memorable names. Instead, everyone now has to have like a normal person's name. Chris Statlander. She sounds like a secretary in an office. I might have worked with a Chris Statlander. It's like someone's like last name in the office that everybody spells wrong when they have to send an email. I mean, I get it. There's been some great wrestlers that have like used their real names. Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, who I just mentioned. But I'm just saying, like, can we at least get some original names? Okay, so you got Awesome Kong there as well. But anyway, let's talk about Brandi. I mean, like, at this point, you already know I'm not going to say anything positive. But, I mean, it just speaks for itself. What would happen if you take someone who's bad at promos and put them on commentary? Why would you, you put someone on commentary. Notice, like, how only certain wrestlers in WWE get put on commentary. It's usually when they're very experienced. Shawn Michaels, CM Punk, Stone Cold, The Miz, like, proven great promos. Guys that don't slip up often. They speak smoothly. They've got a good sounding voice. So those are the people that are good for commentary. Not Brandi Rhodes and her super annoying Starbucks Valley Girl voice, where she's like making these annoying comments about like every single thing that she sees, and then she talks about like, get this. Like, I understand she's like a heel, but she rather take a nap than watch the match. Like, okay, like, Brandi, you're the chief brand officer. You're the Stephanie McMahon of AEW. You can't say you want to take a nap during a match. If that's the case, then why did you have this booked on the show if you want to take a nap, genius? Honestly, yeah, I want to take a nap too. I don't want to see this match. I'm doing it for a fun review on YouTube, but judging from what I'm seeing, there's a very mixed reaction to the women's division on YouTube and online in general. Like, even people who are very pro AEW, and I believe this is what JD from New York on YouTube said, that they need to do better with the women's division. I don't know, if you're going to ask me how can they improve the women's division, I would say make it less cringy. Get someone better as a champion than a 98-pound girl who can't even cut a promo. Forget about that. I thought, Japanese talents that were going to be coming into AEW are usually talented. At least I'll give that to Nakamurphy. I don't really like him, but, the guy at least does facial expressions. He's competent in the ring. I don't really care for his, strong style, but, he's okay. At least he does more than just stomp around like a 3-year-old. I mean, I thought Finn Balor was bad when it came to stomps. At least Finn Balor's got some other moves. Rio's only got one move, the stomp. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about, I want 50 different moves in a wrestling match. No. But it would be nice if the girl could actually lift somebody. It would be nice if she actually had some muscle mass of some sort. I say this all the time. I was saying it over on the Instagram. I post a lot on Bearing the Smarks. He's got a great fun page on there, which I like to participate in a lot. And since he promoted my videos, I said, I was going to return the favor. I'm going to come on there and have fun, and I genuinely do. He makes some great posts. And I was saying a lot over there. I'm like, I'd rather watch cringy Lynch. That's how bad this is. I'm listening to, first of all, I'm watching a boring match with a 98-pound girl, some other girl that's doing a cheap ripoff of Sean Stasiak circa 2002, the Planet Stasiak gimmick. Remember when he ran into the door and The Rock sidestepped him? That was funny. That was entertaining. There's not even anything entertaining about it. She paints her face, which Brandi Rhodes points out. She actually describes, she was burying, I'm telling you, she was unintentionally so unaware, so bimbo, airheaded valley girl, on her 12 Starbucks Frappuccino probably, saying, because she wouldn't shut up, she was going after everybody. Be a little bit more reserved on commentary. She's talking about Excalibur's mask. Then, she's tearing into this, I want to take a nap. And then she talks about, Chris Stanlander's not an alien. She's a woman with face paint. Comment of the year. JR, Tony Schiavone, Taz, Mauro Ranallo, everybody, leave the commentary booth. You've all been outshined. You've all been outdone. Leave right now. Turn your employee badges or whatever you have, turn them in, because Brandi Rhodes just completely trumped you on commentary with those award-winning comments. I mean, geez, Brandi, I could have never figured out that she was a girl wearing face paint. I mean, you just show, how stupid the product is. Yeah, exactly. It's a girl with face paint with no character. We're just told that she's from the Andromeda Galaxy. Aren't we in the Andromeda Galaxy? You know what I mean? Oh my God. Just please, make it stop. And then, to make things worse, who comes out from under the ring? Well, I don't know, because the guy's name is just Luther. Well, who is Luther? Luther Reigns? No. Luther Vandross? I don't know. No, just plain old Luther. I guess Vince McMahon got to him because he only has one name. But, Luther. He's got an eye right here. Okay, so I don't know. Is he supposed to be a Midian ripoff? No, he's a deathmatch champion from Japan. Well, was that FMW? Was that New Japan? Was that All Japan? No, just Japan. So I'm just supposed to know. Oh yeah, I remember that death match. Unless you are the most hardcore, DVD buying, VHS tape playing, super smart nerd like Dave Meltzer, and you're so into this wrestling where you've got to see everything, and you're that guy that says, oh yeah, check it out, you don't know about this guy's work? Go watch his matches in Japan. You know, like, you're that guy. And that's who Luther is for. This is an acquisition that is so nerdy and so stupid. Like, I'll tell you, I was reading the YouTube comments. Like, first of all, this match actually had more dislikes than likes. And it was mostly because people didn't like all the stuff going on. You know, they don't like the run-ins and everything. I mean, that adds more interest to the match than it being a plain old match. But it's like, Brandi on commentary, I don't even think the Smarks enjoyed that. I don't even think they really like Brandi. And they don't even know who Luther is. Like, first of all, like, you know, like, they were promising, like, Japanese wrestlers. The guy's not even Japanese. He's some white guy from, you know, who wrestled in Japan, I guess. You know, but no one even know who the Smarks, when the Smarks don't even know who someone is, that's bad. You really, really dug a little bit too deep to get this Luther guy. You know what I'm saying? Like if the Smarks don't even know, then how is anyone else at home supposed to know? If anyone else, any casuals are still watching this, I don't see why they would be. But anyway, Awesome Kong trips up Statlander. She falls. Rio gets the win. Then I think they beat up Rio. I don't even remember. But, like, guys, like, Luther, like, really? Like, this is who we're going with here? So there's your first recruitment. You know, and that you know, and no one knew who it was. Like, I've never seen that actually before. Like, go over on their YouTube channel. They've got a lot of thumbs down for that. I was actually kind of surprised. I'm like, are the Smarks actually, like, seeing a flaw here? Are they actually admitting that AEW didn't do something good? And you know what the funny thing is to me? Is, like, out of all the things, like, last week was one of the best shows from AEW and it was so freaking horrible. And JD said it was one of the best. He said it was the best, actually. Let me rephrase that. And this show he was making like, oh, they're back to the, you know, to making mistakes again. How is this any worse than last week? I mean, I think it was a little bit worse, but last week was pretty bad. Anyway, let's move on here. So yeah, Luther, like, okay, people, I'm sure there's going to be some people that were happy to see him, but, like, you know, Excalibur was like saying, yeah, look at the face. Like, oh, I'm looking, still don't know who he is. Anyway, we've got, Sammy Guevara defeating Christopher Daniels when he got distracted by the Dark Order. They start coming down to the ring. Guevara hit some move and pinned him. I don't know. Now, I thought this company was supposed to be about, like, you know, not holding the young guys back and everything. But you've got Christopher Daniels, who's been on the indies for, like, 25 years. You know, even JR's saying that, you know, Christopher Daniels' boots are older than Sammy Guevara. Then why is he there? Like, you know, and then the whole story is that, you know, Daniels has missed this step, you know, and the leader of the Dark Order, whatever that guy's name is, you know, he's pointing that out, and he offers a mask to Daniels. So here we go. Here's another recruitment on the show. Something funny about this that really sparked my imagination, and I don't really see too many people pointing this out. They have, of course, said that this is like the, you know, the Ministry of Darkness, like the corporate ministry and all that, and that it is. I mean, that's very easy to see, right? A gothic, dark, and scary, eerie type of group, you know, trying to, you know, form their numbers by recruiting wrestlers. The funny thing is with Christopher Daniels, though, is I'm not sure, like, how many people really know about this, but Daniels was actually supposed to be the greater power at one time. Vince Russo has talked about this extensively. Dirt sheets have even reported on it extensively. And Russo confirmed it. He was the one that was writing. And I think it was Vince McMahon who kind of, made the final call, like, we're not doing Daniels. Now, the funny thing is, what if Vince McMahon wasn't the greater power? People always complain about this storyline. Oh, it doesn't make any sense. Oh, what a major disappointment that reveal was. Can you imagine if it was Christopher Daniels? Christopher Daniels, this guy who's like 5'9", whatever his height is, and just look at him. Look at this guy. I don't know if he was bald at the time. I think he still had hair at that point during like the early. Yeah, he did have hair at that point. But like, imagine looking at Daniels. He even looked even more generic when he had the hair, as a matter of fact. Can you imagine this guy being the leader of The Undertaker? I know, I couldn't either. That's why I was so shocked years later when Russo confirmed that they were actually really considering Daniels. So, like, at this moment, I was like, wow. I just thought about that. I was like, man, that's why Daniels could never make it big time. Because, like, no one would ever take this guy seriously on the major stage. They had him in, like, developmental in WWE for a while. But, like, there's just, Daniels, I'll admit, when he came out in TNA and in Ring of Honor with the hood on his head and doing this and, like, coming out to Disposable Teens, it was kind of cool. He looked cool doing that. But that's about it. I mean, he's a competent wrestler, but, like, Daniels, like, this is what AEW's hanging on to, like an old TNA wrestler that no one's even interested in anymore. So, he throws the mask back at the Dark Order leader, and people are now saying that Matt Hardy, his contract's going to be up. He might end up returning as the leader of the Dark Order because they're talking about the Exalted One and all that, and there's going to be some, there's going to be a higher power. Which is why I find it funny that they didn't decide to do that with Daniels, but it would probably end up being a major disappointment anyway. See, that's what's funny about it. Remember when Daniels came back at the pay-per-view in the tag team tournament finals, he pulled back the mask? Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. I am surprised that they didn't decide to go with the Exalted One being Daniels, and, like, since they're so much enthusiastic about, like, doing things from the past that have already been done 1,000 times here in AEW, and not moving forward and getting with the times, just like WWE. I'd assume they do that, right? They kind of think about it. And now all of a sudden, now we get the payoff. 3 weeks later, it just looks so awkward. Now this is where everyone starts diving in the ring. The Young Bucks get in the ring and everything. Like, again, everything is so long and drawn out in the show. This is the only time you get to see the Young Bucks. The vice presidents can't even get a match on the show because everything's all booked up with all this great content. Then we get Cody Rhodes and Dustin defeating the Lucha Brothers. Now, I get it. I get it. Cody can't compete for the world title. But why is he, like, tag teaming against the Lucha Brothers? What's the point of this match? To get a win? Also, I don't know how I feel about Dustin constantly doing the Canadian Destroyer. It just does not look right for a guy his size. Now, he did the move, kind of. He did, like, sort of like a sunset flip bomb type of move in WWE, but it was different. I'm just not too crazy about, like, him doing the Canadian Destroyer all the time. And especially not being a finisher. Like, the Canadian Destroyer doesn't end the match. A big pile driver, flip pile driver. But a power slam does? Get out of here with that stuff. And then you have Tony Schiavone goes in for an interview with Cody Rhodes. And who steps in? Who steps in? Arn Anderson. Now, unfortunately, I forgot to talk about Arn Anderson last week, and I apologize for that. But you know what's so funny? Cody Rhodes. Oh, he's not, trying to live off of his father's legacy. He cut one of the best promos in the business, right? He cut that big promo on Jericho. That was one of the best promos in the business, right? Remember he did that last year? Oh, wow, what a promo. What a sensational promo by Cody Rhodes. Great job, Cody. What happened? You got to have Arn Anderson be your manager and talk for you? Okay, oh, it was part of a storyline. Sure it was. Okay, so, Arn Anderson says that Cody's not going to agree to the stipulations that MJF set for their match last week. Okay, so why can't Cody say that? What's the point? Arn Anderson is, going to talk for Cody Rhodes, and Cody's going to, shove him to the side one day and say, let me talk for myself. He has to pal around with his dad's friends. You see what I'm saying? This guy knows he's not good. He knows it deep down. He would not need to, drain the energy and the charisma of an Arn Anderson. If this guy really thought that he could stand on his own two legs. But he knows that he can't. Because Cody Rhodes is truly a nobody. He's even in there with his more charismatic and talented brother. He's even looking more impressive in the ring, doing Canadian Destroyers. Cody Rhodes is what's he doing? Honestly, you've got Dustin with the cool face paint. Cody Rhodes is there. He's, I own this place almost, but Tony's really owning it, but I act like I own it. I mean, what a joke. What an absolute and utter joke. This whole thing about Cody Rhodes, what a big mouth, everything. Calling people names, acting like he's better than everybody, acting like he's too much of a big star. Oh, WWE mistreated me. I should have been world champion. Failing to... I get it. Everyone should probably aspire to be a world champion when you think about it, because if you're not in there to hit the big time, what's the point, right? And it is, it's not about having great matches, it's about making money, becoming famous, right? So why is Cody Rhodes, just because he can't have the world title, he'd rather settle for a secondary promotion? WWE wasn't going to fire him. WWE was featuring him prominently. I mean, the guy was in there with Steve Amell, a big actor, the Green Arrow actor. So, it's not like that they weren't going to, continue to showcase Cody Rhodes just because he was unhappy with his character, Instead, he has to, go to extremes. Oh, I got to make my own promotion to put myself over. Oh, but I don't want to put myself over too much because the fans might be suspicious that I might be a Triple H. But one of these days, they're going to overturn that clause and Cody Rhodes is going to be champion because he needs to have a world title, and the NWA title is not enough. He needs to be a Triple H, and deep down, I think he probably is a lot like Triple H. Honestly, I really think that he is. And he's kind of showing it. But, he's being self-conscious about, he doesn't want to make it obvious. But you know that he is. Then this, super weird segment. DDP coming out in the middle of an MJF promo. So MJF is, talking, about the Cody match. He calls Cody names, and then DDP randomly comes out. And, he's just, I don't even know why he's there. For what reason? Then it leads to, them just exchanging a few words with each other. He brings out the Butcher and the Blade tag team. He gives them diamond cutters. He goes for a diamond cutter on MJF. He pushes DDP into his bodyguard. Then MJF goes for, like, he hits him with a low blow. And that's the end of the segment. No save from Cody or anything. They said something like, oh, Cody had a rough match, so he's not going to be out there. Oh, okay. What was the point? DDP teased about one last match, and I'm a big DDP fan, but, like, can we at least get a storyline here? Like, why is DDP out there? Why did he choose to come out there during this segment? Why? I mean, can you tell me why? Like, because I couldn't figure it out. I was trying to search. I watched it, and I'm like, why is he out there? I mean, I like seeing DDP. He's one of the best of all time, in my opinion. But, like, this choice to have him here was just bizarre. It was just like, I guess they were like, oh, well, this show's, needs a little something because it's got nothing memorable on it. So they put DDP out there, showcasing a legend, and here's a guy that's more over than anyone else on the show. So that's why I guess he was there. But, like, what a lame way. Like, that's how they end the segment. Up, low blow. That's it. The end segment. Then we get Jurassic Express defeating the Best Friends. And this Orange Cassidy guy, I don't get it. Like, this guy, like, they make like he's one of the most charismatic guys of all time. And then I'm looking at Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy. And then I was looking at Marco Stunt, like, at the end. It was like Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and then Marco Stunt. And Marco Stunt, he looked like just pale. No like the guy doesn't even have a chest at all. Like, it's just like, this is like all flat. Like, it just looked like a plank of wood. like I mean, really, just like a slab of tofu. So what the guy looked like. And I'm just sitting there saying to myself, holy cow, this is just, like, get this off my TV. Just, like, everyone here, like, aside from Luchasaurus, none of these guys should be on TV. This is an embarrassment. All flipping all over the place. Marco Stunt, oh, no selling everything, 1,000 moves at once. Get this garbage out of here. Like, totally unbelievable, totally goofy looking. The fact that a guy, and Marco Stunt says, oh, he had to be off his social media for a while because people were bullying him. Sorry, man. If you want to look like that, if you don't want to work out and go to the gym and you want to be a wrestler, you deserve every single bit of that criticism. And I mean that. You really, you deserve it. Because, I mean, honestly, like, I get it. Follow your dream. But, like, look the part, man. Do something. Get a gimmick. Do something different. But you look like a total schmuck out there. You look like a nobody. I don't know. Like, seriously, they have Jungle Boy. What's the point of having Marco Stunt? And then they have, who wasn't even on the show, Darby Allin. Where's that guy? I thought he was the underdog. How many underdogs we gotta have on the show? We gotta have a whole roster full of underdogs? Then in the last segment, it's time for recruitment time again. Moxley is like, I don't know, this just went on for so long, kept going. And guys, I'm sorry. There's no difference between Jon Moxley and Dean Ambrose. It's the same character. The guy is trying to portray a tough guy, but I'm just not getting that. I'm still not getting that. I said they should have went for the psychotic gimmick. That's more his thing. Not the tough guy. I'm not buying that. He's not big enough to be a tough guy. He don't look like Stone Cold, even though he's got those comparisons all the time from smarks across the internet. But that's not the case. So, I don't really get it. Like, how is this any different than his WWE persona? There's nothing appealing about it. So anyway, he takes the car keys. Then he smashes the champagne over Jericho's head. He gives him the it's not the paradigm shift now. And then he gets up the ramp and like, okay, I like, this is just me. I guess at 32 years old, I have to ask this question. Like, okay, so he got this expensive car, one of the most expensive cars in the world, the Ford GT. Okay, so it's already been registered in his name and everything, so it's his car. Can I ask you a question? Like, does anyone, like, I don't know. I know this is, like, not them to say this, and this is, like, super nitpicky. I'm just saying this to be funny, but, like, can you imagine how much the insurance is on that thing? Like, shouldn't, you know what? That would have been my first question. If I was in this scenario and this was real life and Jericho was like, say this was like the mob, and Jericho was offering me, like, a big, like, job in a mob, in a gang like this, and like, he's gonna give me a car, I would say, okay, that's really nice. You bought it for me, registered. Okay, well, you mind paying the insurance on this thing too? Do you know how much the insurance would be on a car like that? I mean, not only liability, but also, usually on a new car like that, they make you, like, get the replacement on it too. In case you get into an accident or something like that. I mean, does anyone think about that? Like, who's of, like, a certain age? It's one thing if you're, like, 15 years old watching this, but, like, adults are watching this and they're just like, oh, man, the insurance on that thing. That was me, basically. So, like, just very unfulfilling. It went on for too long. It's uninteresting. It was the third, recruitment thing about, like, a faction trying to get members that night. Just, like, what is this show? It's just a collection of stuff that's going nowhere. It's not entertaining. It's like when they have to do a storyline, it's just boring. Like, okay, Jericho is trying. He's trying to be entertaining and everything. I know that, but, like, I just feel like they're just, like, the blandest, most boring storylines. Let's have a faction. Let's recruit people. I mean, and another thing, like, how many times are we going to have Jericho say, a little bit of that bubbly, a little bit of that bubbly? It was, like, tiresome the second time he said that. Funny the first time, let's put it on a t-shirt. But the 90th time he said it now already, it's not like, and that's the bottom line, or know your role, jabroni. It's not that. Jericho's have much better catchphrases when you think about it. But the little bit of bubbly thing was a funny comment, but not to say it all the time. And they gotta have champagne in the shot, like, every single time he says it to have it make sense. Like, come on already. Just enough. Enough with the praising of this show already. It's bad. It's not entertaining. It's not better than WWE. WWE is horrible, but this is bad. It's actually worse. How does it make you look saying that this is better than WWE when it looks the way it does? You watch a segment like the women's stuff, and you just see, like, you listen to Brandi on commentary. How are you watching this with a straight face saying that this is great stuff? Okay, some people criticized it, but let's talk about the other matches. That's all it is, matches and recruitment segments. Like, enough with this already. It's bad. It's not good. It's not fun to watch unless you like long wrestling matches and the blandest storylines possible that have been done 1,000 times. This is not changing the world. It's not changing the business. It's not changing anything. You know what it's changing? The channel. It's changing the channel, geniuses, because it's bad stuff. No one wants to watch it. That's why the ratings went up a point. 0.01. Come on. Like, let's be honest. They can't even get 1 million views each week. What does that tell you? It tells you that it's not a show that people want to watch. Anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed the review. I know I didn't enjoy the show, but I enjoyed doing the review, and I hope you liked it too. So please comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, click the bell so you get all notifications when I post all my new videos. And guys, thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.